like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of the week.
A day out at a theme park can be a lot of fun, and we rarely consider how dangerous these rides can be. Occasionally, though, something goes wrong, and a great day out can end in disaster. Blame for these incidents tend to be shared between the victim of the accident, poor safety of the attraction, or bad judgment of the ride operators. All of these things have resulted in terrifying accidents over the years, and in this video we'll be looking into the worst ones. Number 1 is actually about a human catapult, so stay tuned for that. Number 10. VERRUCKT water slide, Kansas City. The most tragic accident related to a water slide is associated with this monstrosity. In a rush to build the world's tallest water slide, the operators of a Kansas City park ignored that the nearly 170-foot tall ride had major design flaws, skirted basic engineering standards, and sent riders airborne in a way that could injure or even kill them. We are not exaggerating, as all of those events have occurred on this slide. VERRUCKT was opened in July of 2014, only 20 months from its conception to the grand opening. The worst tragedy occurred when at least 14 riders were injured on the slide in a string of accidents in 2016, one of which included a 10-year-old boy who was tossed off a raft and decapitated when he hit a metal pole. The authorities said top Schleiderbahn officials knew that slide posed serious dangers for riders, so much so that the company officials feared for their own safety when they went on it. Caleb's family did get a $20 million settlement from the park and some of the companies involved in its design, but it's pretty hard to put a price on the loss of a child, particularly in such a horrific way. Fortunately, VERRUCKT was permanently shut down and dismantled in 2018 after 2 years of looming over the park as a horrible monument to one of the worst tragedies in water park history. Number 9. Yulong Zhiyin Water Wave Pool. The wave pool at Yulong Zhiyin Water Park in Longjin, China made headlines on July 30th, 2019 when a wave machine malfunctioned. The malfunction caused a massive tsunami-type wave across the pool, crashing over everyone in its path. The wave was around 9 feet high and the pool was full of people. Some people landed violently on the pavement that surrounded the pool. A total of 44 people were injured in the catastrophe, which is the highest pool injury on record. People were rushed to nearby hospitals, where it was discovered that several people had broken their ribs. This was the first major incident in the park, but the incident was so catastrophic that footage of the rogue wave quickly went viral. The incident was caused by a power cut in the tsunami control room. The power cut affected the electronic equipment that controls the waves, allowing the waves to become far too big. If this is how big waves can get accidentally, would you still go there for a dip? We definitely would not. Number 8. WILDCAT Bell's Amusement Park. If you've ever ridden on a roller coaster, you understand the excitement that builds up as the car slowly climbs to the top of the ride. The calm before the storm makes this location one of the most thrilling spots to spend your vacation. On that fateful day of April 20th, 1997, visitors gathered at the Bell's Amusement Park in Oklahoma for a ride because it was one of the most popular rides at the time. As one of the cars reached the top of the highest hill, a safety device meant to prevent sliding failed. The car slipped 45 feet back down, and the truck slammed into another vehicle, thereby ejecting a 14-year-old boy. He died on the spot, while 6 more persons were severely injured. Investigations later revealed that the park had used an unapproved material for the machines. Number 7. Six Flags, New Jersey. The tragedy at Six Flags Great Adventure and Safari is a bit unique. On May 11, 1984, the park's haunted castle burst into flames and, in essence, gave visitors the dosage of real horror they were looking for. The general structure of the building made matters worse. According to a New Jersey Times account of the incident, the castle was devoid of fire safety measures like sprinklers and smoke alarms. And to top it all off, the inside was a narrow maze of aluminum trailers that were hardly lit. So when a building went ablaze, getting out was a major problem. A few survivors recount being confused at the time the fire was breaking out and whether or not it was smoke or just part of the act. While some got out, others weren't so lucky. According to the police, despite firefighters being called on the scene immediately, the fire had engulfed much of the building due to strong winds that were blowing through the castle. After several hours of battle, the fire was brought under control and the full extent of the damage was revealed. 8 people, 7 boys and a girl had burned beyond recognition. Number 6. Gulliver's World, Warrington, England. Salma Salim met her death on July 2002 in Gulliver's World's theme park. The then 15-year-old who had Down syndrome suffered the fate after falling about 6 meters from the Ferris wheel. According to charges against the park, Salma had wanted to ride with her mom, but an attendant refused to grant her wish on the basis that she was too big. The mom couldn't put up a good enough protest since her English wasn't as fluent. Of course, charges were pressed against the park, but not in relation to Salma's death since her lap bar was still securely locked after the incident. The prosecutor acknowledged that the death wasn't a result of the Gulliver's World health and safety directives, but a closer look at the facility uncovered a host of other issues that could have very well led to such an incident in the future. For instance, the locks had no proper lubrication and were only replaced once broken instead of being checked regularly for wear and tear. The firm in charge of managing the park paid a total of £80,000 for failing to ensure a visitor's safety and for not enacting risk assessment measures. They also paid an additional £90,000 in court costs. Number 5. Wild Wonderland PIER. Ocean City in New Jersey is a popular vacation and relaxation spot that every family looks forward to. You can enjoy the luxury of the beaches and the boardwalk. Among the numerous recreational activities available for tourists is Jillian's Wonderland PIER, an amusement park located north of the boardwalk. The festive vibe and the crowd of fun lovers make it easy to forget that this site was the spot for one of the most fatal roller coaster accidents in history. Wild Wonder had just been launched when passengers excitedly boarded it to have a thrilling ride. The drive chain disengaged before it got to the 41-foot crest, and the anti-rollback device malfunctioned. The train tore back into the turn, and while the cars remained on the tracks, the curve's force ejected a mother and her daughter out. The duo struck the wall and fell 10 feet to the ground and died instantly. The park was closed temporarily for the investigation and later opened after a few months. Number 4. Cannonball Drop, New Jersey. Our list wouldn't be complete without a ride from the notorious Action Park in New Jersey. The park is famous for having some of the worst accidents in amusement parks. According to many reports, it was shut down in 1996 after a total of 6 deaths and so many injuries that no one seems to be able to actually count them. Action Park didn't stay closed though. It reopened in 2010. One of the more notorious Action Park rides was called Cannonball Falls, and it featured a 10-foot drop into a mountain pool. It was the most dangerous water slide in the state of New Jersey, with 6 injuries during the 2015 season alone. The state was filled with dangerous water slides, so you can imagine how bad this one was. Cannonball Falls was permanently closed a few weeks before the end of the 2015 season. Number 3. EXPOLAND, Fuji, RAIJIN 2. EXPOLAND in Suita, Japan has been thriving as an amusement park for over 30 years. However, one of the park's incidents is particularly shocking. On May 5, 2007, the FUJIN RAIJIN 2 was having a normal operating day until something went very wrong. The park's stand-up coaster derailed, killing a 19-year-old uni student and injuring 19 other people. The investigation that commenced revealed that what had happened was the ride derailed due to a broken axle, and it turned out that none of the axles had been replaced in over 15 years. The ride was closed, undergoing inspection, and never opened again after the accident. Number 2. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Disneyland. This popular roller coaster was opened in 1979 and was based on the idea of a runaway mine train that speeds through a dark tunnel. The train was made up of 5 cars and a small engine. It was an amusing attraction until a fatal accident occurred, causing its downfall. At about 11:20 a.m. of that day, a lead car, which was decorated to resemble a small red engine, and an open-top passenger car sped through the faux desert landscape and uphill into a dark tunnel on Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Those who saw the accident ran out to call for help, and almost an hour later, the firefighters and paramedics came to save the day. Meanwhile, the park employees politely kept people from entering the park. Unfortunately, one man passed away, identified as Marcelo Torres, and 10 other riders were hurt with minor injuries. His death was the 10th since it opened, and the whole incident was the second most serious accident on Big Thunder Mountain since 1998. That was when a 5-year-old boy's foot was crushed against the curb while stepping off the ride. The well-being of everyone wasn't guaranteed anymore, which made the chief executive of Walt Disney Co. close it. Number 1. Human Trebuchet. Unfortunately, when catapults are mentioned, we often think of medieval times and old-school devices that are no longer used today. But someone had the bright idea to make a human catapult in the UK. Well, we know what you're thinking, that wasn't such a brilliant idea, but it sounded very appealing back then. This attraction was supposed to be thrilling, but safe. For only $70, people would be launched 75 feet through the air to later fall in a net that was suspended above the ground. It sure sounds risky now that we say it, but things ran pretty smoothly for the most part. But all that changed back in 2002 when a 19-year-old student from Oxford went on the ride and failed to fall inside the net. Some people who were part of a stunt club tried this trebuchet before this deadly incident, and they noticed that something awful was likely to happen. They say that they were concerned to see that some people were falling right in front of the net, very close to falling out, rather than safely landing in the middle of it. We guess that terrible accident made people realize that building a human catapult is not necessarily a great idea as they show in cartoons. Would you dare ride any of these amusement rides? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.